Welcome to the Right Tack, where we help private practice owners face the headwinds of the healthcare industry. I'm Paul Jonas, CEO and co-founder of Breezy Billing and Phoenix Credentialing.
And I'm Jim Jonas, therapist and co-founder of Breezy Billing, Phoenix Credentialing, and the Jonas Center.
Today, we're diving back into a conversation that resonated with so many listeners a few episodes ago, business banking and SBA loans. If you're running a behavioral health practice and planning to expand, hire staff, or secure financing for your growth, this episode will give you actionable insights into how SBA loans can help.
Actionable insights. That's great. Okay. We're welcoming back a familiar voice, Tim Sery. He's Vice President, Commercial Lender at BankVista. He joined us in part one of this series. And today he's joined by his colleague, Kari Schurmann, Senior Vice President, SBA Officer at BankVista. Kari has, I've heard, over 30 years of experience in commercial lending, and her team has been recognized as Minnesota's SBA Lender of the Year for 9 years running.
I believe that's 10 years now, as of this year.
Oh,
10 years.
10 years as
Yeah,
well.
10 years.
Okay, great.
So, Tim, Kari, we're thrilled to have you here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Paul and Jim. It's a pleasure to be here and eager to share my knowledge of SBA loans with you.
Excellent.
Can't wait. So,
Yeah. All right, let's dive in.
So, Tim, Kari, thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's dive in.
All right, let's dive in.
Tim, Kari, thanks for joining us today. We are really excited to talk about banking and SBA loans.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Right. Well,
So before we get into the SBA loan side of things, Tim and Kari, what have you got planned for the weekend? We're just kind of wondering,
I don't think there's a ton of stuff on my agenda this weekend. My daughter just wrapped up hockey tryouts, so that'll be what happens every weekend for about the next 6 months. So for sure that, and she also has her year-end soccer tournament, so we'll be doing that. Hopefully not in the rain on Sunday.
Yep. Just a lot of sports at the Sery household.
Yep.
Kari, how about you?
I'm looking forward to a relaxing weekend and catching up on some personal tasks at home.
Okay.
That sounds great. Oh, personal tasks at home.
Yeah. So
I really need to make time for those.
yeah. So what are you doing, Paul?
Well, we're partially celebrating my wife's birthday, which was last week, but having some hanging out with some friends tonight with that, and then we are going to go and cut out buckthorn in the marsh behind our house. So I don't know, I don't know how many folks listening know what buckthorn is, but it is the worst thing that has ever grown. I'd say it's worse than like the kudzu down south and everything. It's just sharp and miserable and takes over stuff. So cannot wait to cut some of that out of our marsh. They got a big volunteer push this weekend for that.
All right.
How about you?
I'm moving plants.
All right, enough said. Is it
from
Grandma
our
Fern?
Yes, Grandma Fern. We're moving plants from our screened-in porch to into the house so they don't freeze.
And how big is Grandma? Can you describe
gosh.
Grandmother Fern for the people?
And do you see that sign back there?
Breezy Note
it's
sign.
Probably, just make it right. It's huge. Yeah, it's
almost
just
6 feet.
huge.
It's
trying to get that
massive.
through the sliding glass door or something.
There's ramps involved. I think,
Well,
for this plant.
it's just terrible. So, and we try and dry them out first, so it's not so heavy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of plants. My wife likes plants.
She's got a green thumb.
She does. She
Yep,
does.
God bless Mom.
So yeah.
Well, so last time Tim walked us through the basics of building a strong banking relationship and some of the fundamentals of small business lending. Today, we want to dig a little bit deeper into SBA loans specifically, especially since they're often one of the most accessible and affordable ways for practice owners to finance growth.
Well, and with Kari joining us, we've got the perfect person to explain not only the mechanics of SBA loans, but also the latest changes that practice owners should know about.
So for listeners who might not have heard of SBA loans, Kari, if they're not clear on what they really are, can you break down the SBA 7A loan program for us? Like what's different from a conventional business loan?
Yep, absolutely. Well, the 7A loan program is SBA's primary business loan program for small businesses. It provides financial assistance to small businesses. It's not a direct loan from the SBA itself. It's a loan from a private lender, guarantees a portion of the loan depending upon the loan amount. And then the SBA guarantee reduces the bank's risk, making banks more willing to lend to small businesses, especially those that might not otherwise qualify. So 7A loans offer longer repayment terms. We can go up to 25 years for real estate loans and up to 10 years for other assets. There's lower down payment requirements. We can go as low as 10%. So like you had said earlier, SBA loans are more accessible for startup businesses than those with less than perfect credit and have a shorter operating history.
Okay.
So primary focus of SBA lending is on the borrower's ability to pay, not necessarily on having sufficient collateral to fully secure the loan.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that's
kind of
good.
it lets you take a chance on America's small businesses or your local small businesses here in BankVista's case, it sounds like. And not too
Yep.
much of a chance, but a little bit more of a chance, I suppose. Well, and I've got to say, we have to say a big thanks to the SBA lending program. We wouldn't be here
Mhm.
without that. That was our first loan. That's our current line of credit. So
Yeah.
we've really appreciated that. Kari, how about the conventional loans?
Yep. So with conventional loans, the bank is assuming 100% of the risk, which leads to, stricter underwriting, higher creditworthiness requirements. They're best suited for established businesses with strong historical financial data. Conventional loans require a larger down payment than SBA loans, so they can require, starting at 30%. The terms are shorter, usually 5 to 7 years, and the lender will likely want to have some collateral to secure the loan.
And so I guess for me, what would be, and I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit, but why would I want a conventional loan if it sounds like the SBA loan is so, seems like a better situation for a lender or for a lendee. What would that be called?
Andy,
Borrower.
borrower.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, on a conventional loan, you could get a lower interest rate, but then you're putting in additional cash.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. All right.
Well, and we've got that line of credit.
Yeah.
I think would that be considered conventional? Like,
No, it's SBA.
that's SBA?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
okay.
Hmm.
All right, cool. Well, so Kari, we're wondering, like, from a behavioral health practice perspective, who would be a strong candidate for SBA financing or what type of agency?
Yeah. Financing a behavioral health practice without SBA assistance is difficult due to the lack of sufficient collateral, like equipment, real estate. Your main assets are your people, the practitioner's license and expertise,
Yeah.
your client relationships, goodwill, an office lease, and some furniture. So this makes it difficult for conventional bank loans, which rely heavily on tangible assets. So the SBA is effectively acting as collateral substitute, which is why medical practices, dental offices, professional, um, any professional firms utilize the SBA 7A loan.
Okay. And I
Oh,
can
that
see
makes
that. Yeah.
sense,
Because
yeah.
the professional services for sure. I mean, that
Yeah.
definitely falls in line kind of with, we have some computers.
Yeah, that's about it.
And that's about it.
No.
Yeah. So that makes sense from our perspective. I know a lot of our providers, a lot of our customers are in the exact same boat. They're usually renting office space. They don't need big trucks or lots of building space or anything like that they need to
Brick
own.
and mortar.
Brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you guys have been named the SBA Lender of the Year in Minnesota here for 10 years. What does being a preferred SBA lender mean for your clients, and how does that status help a practice owner looking for financing? Like, what's that? What should people understand when they hear preferred SBA lender?
Yeah, well, BankVista, like you said, is a preferred lender. We have a preferred status with the SBA. PLP is a designation that the SBA has given to us. It allows us to make most credit decisions without SBA's approval. So it provides a much faster turnaround time for the customer and provides a more efficient mechanism for making SBA loans. The SBA awarded us the status based on our ability to process and maintain SBA loans, our credit procedures, credit underwriting practices. So being a preferred lender means that we can underwrite, document, and close commercial loan transactions quickly and efficiently.
Well, and you must be doing that too, right? I mean, this is great.
What is the timeline
Yeah.
for that? Like, if I've got my business plan in place and I've got kind of the core, like, I understand what I'm doing, what kind of business I want to run. So if I were to bring that to you, and let's say I had all my stuff together, how long of a process is it typically that you guys see for someone?
I would say on average, we're about 45 days from start to finish. On a real estate transaction, it takes a little bit longer because of the appraisals. But on a practice transaction, once we have all the information, it goes relatively quickly.
Okay. And for any of our listeners who are starting a practice, 45 days is no time when it comes to business or contracting or anything like that. If you listen to our credentialing and contracting episode, we're talking months. Everything's measured in months. So you can measure something in days here, just a few weeks. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yep. That's for sure.
Cool. All right. I just figured I'd ask that one quick.
Yeah. Well, okay. And winds are saying that there's upcoming changes to SBA programs, Kari. So what's on the horizon that practice owners should be aware of from your perspective?
Yeah, well, some of the changes are requirements like life insurance. That's going to be required on all principals because the success of your business, depends heavily on one or more of those individuals. So this just helps protect the business.
So
Yeah.
any other requirement?
Another requirement is mandatory flood and hazard insurance on loans over 50,000.
Oh, wow. Huh.
So before it wasn't required, now it is. The equity injection requirement at 10% for startup businesses and change of ownership. That's something new. And then there are some enhanced citizenship and ownership requirements where the businesses must be 100% owned by U.S. citizens, U.S. national, or lawful permanent residents in order to qualify. SBA continues to guarantee 85% of loans up to 150,000. Over 150,000, we have a 75% guarantee. SBA guarantee fees have not changed. The fees are based on the percentage of the loan and the amount that's guaranteed. So those range anywhere from 2 to 3.75%. 3% or more owner. And you may have to pledge personal assets if they are available.
So bet on the farm.
Yeah. So we're on the second floor here, in our little universal headquarters, and we still need flood insurance.
Well, it's flood and hazard. I think they must come together, right? Okay. Is that?
Yep. We have to do a flood determination. We don't necessarily require flood insurance unless it's in a floodplain.
Okay.
Ooh, good.
Good deal.
All right. Well, anything else on the current landscape here of the of the SBA loan program, new or old, that you want to mention?
I think I touched on the basics.
Okay.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Well, thanks. And then, so Tim, since you work with small business owners day to day, how are you seeing these SBA programs play out on the ground for your clients? Any trends or anything on with behavioral health practices or other services organizations?
I think the how it plays out is you just you start a lot of them will come in and they're looking at starting a practice or they're buying an existing practice and watching them getting it up and running, and then over time you can see it convert to where they're maybe they go conventional, yeah, and then you just kind of see them grow as a business and as a business owner. So it's just typically definitely a positive trend as they just kind of progress year after year, grow it, and some will outgrow the SBA and slide more to a conventional loans. So it is good to see that growth over time. I would say that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen so far.
Cool. And there's nothing better than seeing businesses grow. We do the same thing as we're invoicing our customers. You can kind of see the revenue numbers go up, and it's really cool to watch or to see them add providers. That's one of my favorite things to see. So every once in a while, I'll fire off an email saying, "Hey, congrats! Like I see added 3 new people. That's awesome. Congratulations on the growth." So
Yeah.
I hear you, man. That's awesome.
So can I go to the dark side?
Oh. What's the dark side?
So
We need to lower our voices.
so you too, it's like, huh. I guess I want to ask, how often do you see a business like, behavioral health or basically that's, do you see it fail? And yeah, I'm just wondering that, and what, well, I get what it means. The loan still would need to be paid back or it's guaranteed, a lot of it. But yeah, how often do you see a business fail?
Well, it all depends upon the industry. I don't know the exact number of failed, behavioral health practices. I don't believe it's one of the top 10. I would say, anything in the hospitality or restaurant business would be probably in that bucket.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So that's good.
Glad we're not in the top 10.
Yeah. Glad we're top 10 or the bottom 10.
John.
Yeah.
Right.
We're
Right.
we're not on the bad.
Okay.
Bad.
Thanks.
Hard list.
All right. Where are we?
Well, let's ask about debt. I know a lot of our customers are, well, not our customers, but a lot of anybody starting a new business is worried about debt. I know a lot of our customers are worried about debt.
Yeah.
So, what would you say if a provider is hesitant or about taking out an SBA loan, if they're afraid of being overextended?
I would say for a provider that is worried or hesitant about overextended with an SBA loan, I just recommend that the best approach is to prepare a strong financial plan, maintain tight controls of your cash flow, and borrow only what you need. An SBA loan can be, a powerful tool, but taking on too much debt can disrupt or strain your cash flow and hinder your business growth. So I just recommend that you work with a trusted business advisor or financial expert to help evaluate your financial health and determine the best financing option for your specific situation.
Okay.
Right.
I remember in the mid to late 2000s, or I guess even after that, after the housing crisis, my wife and I bought a house together, and we were blown away with how much we qualified for and what the monthly payment would be on that.
Mhm.
And because we were still budgeting for gas at that time, it was tight. And had we gone to the max of what we were allowed, we would have been in a much worse financial situation. So from personal experience, I know exactly what you mean about not, even though, the numbers say you can have this money, that doesn't play out the same way, in real life necessarily. Sounds like you're kind of saying the same thing there. Yeah.
I would say definitely you don't want to you don't want to like I said, overextend yourself. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. If you're if you think you can make it that way, as far as it could go, definitely if you're not solid, if you're not sure of it, pull it back, lower it, and just try to stay within your means, stay within the budget, and do not overextend. That's one of the biggest downfalls out there is trying to bite off more than they can chew and trying to get more aggressive than they should, and just doing too much.
Right. It's been a tightrope sometimes. I know it's been a tightrope for us, planning and making sure we're not biting off more than we can chew for sure. So from the beginning on through, you got to watch that money. Do you guys help new business owners or prospective new business owners come up with some of those financial plans, or look through them and make recommendations, or connect them with people? What do you have a role in that?
Yes, I use an initiative foundation in Bloomington to assist borrowers with business plans and projections, just to dive deep into the business and understand it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And I know what we used, SCORE helped us. They were
Oh, yeah.
a volunteer nonprofit, helped us get some of our stuff together. I know that's another one here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, so switching gears a little bit, for behavioral health providers considering an SBA loan, what and we might have touched on this a little bit, but what qualifications or documentation do they need to be prepared to give you when they walk into the bank? I know you talked about a business plan and a financial plan. Anything else that they should plan to have organized, like, at all?
Yeah. So first you have to qualify. Qualify for an SBA loan, you need to be an eligible for-profit small business operating in the United States with a good credit score. You have to demonstrate an ability to repay, and you have to have a history of sound business management. As far as documentation, lenders would like to see 3 years of business and personal tax returns, business and personal financial statements, including a profit and loss, balance sheet, and cash flow statements. A business plan, which we had just talked about, which explains your business operations, the objectives, financial projections, and how you're going to be using the loan funds. And then they'll also need copies of your professional licenses.
Okay.
Huh. Okay.
And with the 3 years that you mentioned, is that you said personal and business, or business? Because I'm sitting there I've got, I just started this business and I need to expand a little bit, but if I'm only 1 year into it, how does that change the equation?
Yep. You're only going to provide financial statements for the business for as many years as you've been in business.
Okay.
So if you've only, filed taxes 1 year, then that's all we'll get, and that is okay.
That's okay. All right.
Cool.
That's good to know. Yeah. Well, so Tim, from your perspective, what makes a practice look loan ready? And are there red flags that might slow that process down?
I would say, being loan ready, you've had that initial conversation, what the expectation is as far as, the bank needing financials, what financials are needed, what the down payment is, all that type of stuff. You've had that conversation, or you're about to have that conversation. Red flags to slow down, just pushing back on, the amount of financials needed, or, oh, you don't really need this. We're not asking for information just to, to make a thicker file. We actually do need it. It is everything that is asked for is reviewed. So, just be ready for, the information that's needed to supply it all, and respond in a timely manner as far as question goes, or, hey, I didn't see this document, can you please resend, or it came through fuzzy, can you send it again? Just basically be ready to respond. It doesn't have to be immediate, as long as it's same day, or that night, next morning, something like that. As long as you're responding somewhat quickly, that's ideal. It shows that you really want it, that you're willing to work for it and get after it, which is what we want to see.
Okay. Initially, And Tim and Kari, you don't have to comment on this, but I'm just
What? All right. What do you want me to say?
No. I'm thinking this is maybe even before you. It's like, that initial first time, it's like, oh my gosh, why do they need this? Why do they need that? And, I was a little angsty. Okay. But I provided all the information you asked for. And now you guys also make it easier, like to do a personal financial statement or something. I mean, having last year's PFS, really helps out with a whole bunch of that data. And I just have to plug in a few numbers, and that's great. And I've come to realize too, well, it makes sense why you need this information. And so I'm much less angsty than I was 30 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Absolutely.
I was going to say kind of plug the same thing because we deal with this on the credentialing and contracting side for providers every once in a while, where we're asking for things to help us help you, right? Like, I need this document and I need to be clear because I know if I wherever it's going next or wherever I'm keeping it, it needs to be clear, it needs to be accurate, it needs to have all the things that we say that it needs to have on it. Otherwise you're going to get denied from whatever the thing is. So whatever application we're filing. So I know people can be a little bit angsty, but I promise I will never ask for a document I don't need for you to be successful. And it sounds like you're kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So Kari, do you got any success stories where an SBA loan helped anybody in healthcare or behavioral health or something like that? Let's talk about some successes.
Yeah, well, I had the privilege of assisting a healthcare provider with a multi-million-dollar SBA 7A loan to finance the transition from a 100-year-old building to a new modern facility that's not only more efficient and friendly, but also better equipped to meet regulatory standards and community healthcare demands. Success story is
That's
a
pretty
testament to the power of SBA financing.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you get to see a lot of those too. That's got to be. Is that one of the perks of the job?
Yes, it is.
I don't know. I love seeing other people succeed in business. Just having started our own thing here, and then to get to see people grow and expand and do some really cool stuff. Often cooler than what I've done is just amazing. It's fun being a part of that for sure.
Well, I'm hoping we're in the plus category for you guys too. That those guys, the Jonases, they made it, and they're
somehow
doing
despite
okay.
themselves,
right? Okay, so yeah, and it's always so good to deal with both of you. So that's for sure, man. Well, you bet. So beyond loans, what ongoing banking services should practice owners be using to set themselves up for that long-term success?
Good question.
Well, I would say, obviously you're going to have a, deposit account, funds go in, funds go out. A lot of customers now are setting up everything or a vast majority they're trying to do mobily. So, relying on your mobile app, you can make deposits that way. You can transfer funds as needed. You can see your lines of credit. So if you do have a line of credit, you can make a transfer if needed. You can pay it down. You can pay down loans, whatever you've got there. As far as treasury, and I should say, in addition to treasury management services, those are, a big thing with everything that's going on today. Obviously, everybody knows that there's fraud out there. So there's a program called Positive Pay. It's an extra layer of protection that you have on your account. Once you're into it, basically you're uploading, what you had for debits that should be going out of your account. The system automatically will flag anything that doesn't match what you have, and you'll have that decision. Nope, that is not something that I wrote, or that should be coming out, and you have the ability to reject it, as opposed to it clearing, and now you're going through the process of trying to hunt down those funds, likelihood of changing your account. So it does save you down the road if for some reason you were to have any sort of fraud hit your account. So that's a big thing with everything that's going on today is getting positive pay set up. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and we also offer sweep accounts, which will sweep from checking accounts to loans. That's a popular feature. Also, remote deposit capture, which allows your staff to scan and deposit checks directly from the office, saving quite a bit of time, trips to the bank.
I love remote deposit capture.
Yeah. 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 Well, and I love the flexibility of moving money from our LOC, to the checking account and back again. That's a great thing.
I think any banking relationship, no matter what, like if you all those to be able to take ownership of your money and move it where you need it to be, to have that set up right is definitely anything that smooths the operational gears is fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So Kari, if you had to leave practice owners with one takeaway about the SBA program or SBA loans, what would that be?
The single most important thing or piece of advice that I would give to a practice owner is just to choose a bank partner that specializes in SBA lending and has a deep understanding of the healthcare industry. Mm-hmm. There's a misconception that SBA loans take a long time, and that is untrue. The process has been streamlined, and many loans can be approved in weeks, like we had talked, especially when you're working with a preferred lender. So choosing a bank with SBA financing or preferred lender status, I think makes the entire process faster and easier.
Okay, that's really important to know. Yeah, and good. So, Tim, what about you? What's one piece of advice you'd give behavioral health owners, walking away today?
I would say, in kind of expanding on what Kari had said, working with a bank, you're really going to want to work with a banker, that you can that really trust, that you can develop that relationship with. If you've got questions, you're okay texting them, at 8:00 on a Thursday night, and that they'll respond or they'll get on it right away in the morning. So just being able to have that strong and positive relationship with your banker, that's something that's huge. And again, being able to, you submit a request and the banker gets back to you and says, hey, I need this information, or you missed this thing. Oh, yep, sorry, my apologies. Here it is. Just being able to have that relationship where you can go back and forth, you can have the discussion, you can throw to the banker, hey, this is what I'm thinking on about. What's your thought? How do you see this working? So just again, it just kind of goes back to that relationship. You really want to have that a strong relationship with your banker.
That's one of the reasons we love community banks too, just in general. Is just it's a good relationship with people who live in the community and know the community as well. Not just it's not just an 800 number.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, so before we wrap up, we like to ask our guests a question that again, outside of the topic typically, but just a kind of another get to know you question. And it really is, what have you been thinking about lately? And that can be personal, it can be professional. But yeah, Kari, Tim, I guess Kari, I'll ask you first. What you been thinking about lately?
Well, I am married to a farmer, and we are in the middle of harvesting our crops. Mm-hmm. So I've been thinking a lot about the safety, success, and well-being of our farmers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, and especially I know it's tough on soybeans right now, but there's things in the works there. So definitely talked to a farmer or two at our barn party this last weekend. So
I got to I got to ride in a combine this past weekend too with my 2 grandkids. It was great. Oh my gosh. Air conditioned, quiet, we
a little different than the old days.
Yeah, a little different than the dust blowing in the old days. Yeah, for sure. A lot of fun.
How about you, Tim?
I would say, I touched on it earlier, with my daughter playing hockey. We just wrapped up tryouts. So just kind of getting back into that. I've got 2 older boys that one graduated and the other one he kind of fell out of love with hockey. He fell into in love with golf instead. So just kind of getting back into it with my daughter. So far she still really likes it. So just kind of watching her kind of develop and grow. So we'll see how the year progresses, but I think she's definitely set herself up to progress and succeed. So hopefully she keeps at it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great. Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
Well, what have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about hips.
Hips. like a hip shake or
No. So my neighbor came over the other day and hobbling into my house, and it's like, I remember that hobble from 2020 when I used to do that, and I had both my hips replaced, and he goes, I'm in a lot of pain now, and he's got both of his hips, scheduled for surgery coming up, and it was great. And then my wife's getting one of her hips done here in first part of November. So hips, I've been thinking about hips.
We had a meeting with some of our consultants not too long ago, and most of our consultants, I'm going to say, are in the 50 plus range.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here, I'm in my, early 40s. And so I'm sitting here watching these, and the first thing that happens is anybody in the kind of the 55 plus starts talking about their joints, half of whom have had something replaced.
Oh yeah.
Others who are like getting that fourth tire put on the car because we've already blown the other three. And it's a lot. You think about hips a lot, I think. Once you get 55 plus, is that?
Oh, God. Okay. What about you?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how we can get the SBA to finance a sailboat.
Oh,
I mean, it'd kind of line up.
What a great idea.
No,
we know just the people to get a hold of here too.
I know.
Oh,
the big breezy logo on the sail. Wouldn't that look nice?
Yeah. Business.
Business. No, actually, we're turning 10. I've been thinking a lot about our 10th birthday here.
We are.
We started the business officially a little bit early, like in 2014, I think. But we publicly launched in November of 2015. So we are turning 10. We're having a party. We got to get these guys on the invite. I got to make sure they're on the list. And if you, it's pretty much, if you're on the list or you want to invite somebody, bring friends, family, it's just kind of a, hey, we turned another year, we made another trip around the sun. So we celebrate with a little happy hour with the apps and stuff for all of our friends and colleagues here at a local establishment. But one of the things we're doing this year, because 10's kind of a big deal, is I'm on a mission I'm going to do 10 acts of kindness. So we are going to ask our customers, we're going to ask behavioral health providers, we're going to ask anybody to allow customers and to let us know some ideas for some act of kindness that I can do. And so we're going to get a whole huge list of these things, and whatever's, asked the most or the most interesting or not crazy, we're going to pick 10 of them.
Oh.
And then I'm going to go do those 10 things over the course of the next year for our 10th anniversary.
Good deal. I've got a few in mind.
And I'm not power washing the barn again.
Oh, geez.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what people come up with. We'll probably be talking about them a bit on the Right Tack podcast. But otherwise, if you've got an idea, anyone out there, follow Breezy Billing on LinkedIn. There's a form out on our company page there. So that's what I've been thinking about. 10 years old. I never thought I'd be excited to be 10 again.
Well, yeah. Well, and we've been together.
Congrats on the 10 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without the SBA. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
and our banking partners, right? So big thanks for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, come on out.
Well, so a big thank you to our guests here,
Yes.
Tim Sery, Kari Schurmann from BankVista, and for sharing all their expertise today. If you're running or growing a behavioral health practice, don't overlook the opportunities SBA loans and a strong banking relationship can bring to your business.
Until next time, I'm Paul Jonas.
And I'm Jim Jonas.
Keep your eyes on the horizon.